It's July 1st, folks, and we'll do a little patch tour here. We're at patch 2, and then I'll follow up with patch 1. We're looking at the 2560 Ginger plant, big old sea of green, and this pumpkin is at day 13, and it's tiny. But it's kind of the theme with all my pumpkins, so hopefully that changes. This is what we're looking at with day 13. I'll say the pros, it's kind of near perfect shape. It's still really small, but it looks like it has some length to it, which is good. And it's got, nice uniform ribbing and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that translates to a good shape for growing big and supporting lots of pounds. I also have really good vine position here. I have, some ramped up soil here to allow these roots to grow. And then I have it elevated quite a bit off the base, so as it grows, I can start removing the foam blocks and lay it down onto the mill fabric here. And that way I can keep as many roots as possible growing near the pumpkin. And then all of these secondaries are still growing. They've definitely slowed up a bit. I think that's typical once you have a fruit set, that your secondaries slow up. And I got even more over here. So I'm hoping they don't slow up until I can at least fill this space in here. So I'll start curving them into this space. And this is the main right here. So that vine goes past the pumpkin over there, and then it does this little S right here, and I'll have it come back out this way. I do have one backup right there. As soon as this guy's 20 days old, so maybe another week, maybe even less, I'll pop that guy off, and then everything will be going directly to this pumpkin. All right, let's take a look here at the 2006 wolf plant. So this plant is really slowed down because the fruit has gotten quite a bit bigger. But I do still have all these secondaries here that are training to fill in this space, similar to the 2560 Ginger. I'm gonna let these secondaries come into this zone here. But they're really slowing down, so we'll watch those. Hopefully we can get them filled in. Same thing over here, only got a few that'll fill in. And then this is the pseudo main that'll come out here. And there are some little tertiaries on it or some secondaries on it that I would like to let fill up, but they're really not moving yet. So we'll see what happens there. Here's the pumpkin. It's a beautiful color. So when you see that bright yellow color like that, that's a good indication that you're gonna have a bright orange pumpkin. So that's the positives. The negative is it's not very long. So you can see here the between here and here isn't super long. We'll see if that changes over time. Probably not, but it's not going to be that long shape. It's probably going to be a little bit more like kind of a wheel shape, which is okay. The real negative here is just, it's still early, but at day 27 we're sitting at like 130 pounds, which is a very low number. You'd hope for something significantly higher than that, well over 200. So maybe that's because the plant isn't as big as it would have been if we hadn't had the main break early on. So that, the total distance between where the pumpkin is and where the crown is only about 15 feet. So number of secondaries isn't huge. So yeah, a little bit disappointing in terms of the growth numbers, when compared to years past or compared to just sort of what's typical. But great color. And it's early, so we'll keep on watching it and we'll see where it goes. So from here, I think not much else to show at patch 2. We'll head over to patch 1. One other thing I forgot to mention is I've got some 100-degree weather coming here in Northern California. It's been mid-90s, it's gonna be mid-90s today, and then we get into a few days of hundreds and really high 90s. So I'm very worried about keeping these vine tips alive, because we really need to fill in this space here. If the vine tips get fried by the sun, then that's kind of all she wrote. So I bought some shade netting that I'm gonna run like some 3-foot by 15-foot strips. I'm gonna try and attach it to some bamboo stakes and just run a 3-foot strip along the vine tip, something I haven't done before, but we'll see if that works. I think the ticket is, if you can run this kind of material over your whole patch, I think that's the ticket for this climate. Maybe something that I'll try in future years. All right, we're at patch 2. Let's check out the 2245 Andrews and the 2266 Kisamore. So that's the 2266 Kisamore now. I think since last update a week ago, I wasn't quite terminating on the ends yet, maybe just a little bit. So I'm now terminating on both sides. So it's reached its full 30 feet wide. So here's the fruit. It's gonna be orange, I think. I kind of expected it at this stage to be a little bit more kind of that rich yellow color, kind of like the 2006 Wolf, but I think it's gonna be orange either way. And it's not very big for its age. I gotta look it up, but it's past day 10. But I do like that it has kind of that long shape. So it should be like as long this way as it is over the top, and that's a good thing for getting weight in the end. It's also very smooth. You can't even hardly see the ribbing. All right, let's take a look at the Andrews, 2245 Andrews. So if you recall, this is the plant that I've really fought with throughout the growing process. Vine position's good. This fruit's 1 day older, and also gonna be, I think, good color. It's yellow now, good indication that it'll be orange later. I did some, so you can see that's my main going here. So you can see it's kind of got a good vine maintenance. This is a secondary going off here. And today I cut back some of the leaves because they inevitably start to blow in the wind, and then they'll blow down and scar the pumpkin. So I figured, okay, let's get them out of the way as soon as possible. I usually end up like not being able to cut them and just waiting as long as possible. Well, I was so smart. When I cut it, it dropped and put a scar right there on the pumpkin anyway. So the exact thing I was trying to avoid, I ended up doing anyway. This is the 1548 Martin. Everything about this plant and pumpkin are just doing great. Good color, couldn't ask for a better shape. Really kind of, good ribbing, barrel shaped. It's at day 17, and I want to say it's 60 or 70 pounds, estimating. All this growth here will fill in this area here, so it's not going to get it a lot of total space, but I don't know, the way the pumpkin's growing, the way the plant and the vine thickness is, I'm pretty optimistic that this, even in a small space, this one's going to do really well. And last but not least, this is the 1469 Young. This is what I've been calling the gopher plant. Got eaten by a gopher. This is the only plant out of all 6 of the plants that we had a pollination not take, and it actually was pollinated the day or the day after the gopher ate half of the mane or half of the crown, so I think that had something to do with it. So we've pollinated 1, 2, 3, 4, something like 3 or 4 on this plant. We're just gonna take whichever one looks good and then do a little bit of vine adjustment and call it good. Again, this one's not, we're not going for size here. We're just hoping to get a really pretty pumpkin out of this plant. So that's the July 1st patch update.